to pour the coffee then.
Okay, good.
As soon as I get up there we are. Boom.
Hello.
Uh,
That buzzing behind me is Lola's phone.
I thought you got a parrot.
No, it's probably it's probably one of Lola's fans calling her like, "Hey, baby." She gets messages. She gets Facebook calls like at 4 a.m, usually from like India or.
Oh yeah.
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 I told her I should start answering. Like,
right.
hello,
yeah.
Who is this?
It's all those guys at the call centers with nothing better to do.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm going to call that Krista.
Yeah. She has the bobs. Yeah, that's what I thought you meant when you were saying House of Bob. I thought it was based on that.
Oh no! It was a House of Bob is a play on a Howard Stern skit. Yeah.
Everybody knows what Bob stands for.
Well, maybe someone else may, but I know I have a specific story for it.
You don't have to have a specific story for it. You just have to have an array of weapons.
Oh, there you go.
I sat down in my computer. I started going through YouTube videos, and I brought up the Daphne rant, which is which is a thing. It's a thing, and from yesterday.
Oh, from yesterday. Yeah. Yesterday was pretty funny.
Daphne went through a whole. Let me tell you something. She had a rough day yesterday. If you don't know this, guys, she went through a rainbow of emotions. She started the day off like, listen, when she has to defend an artist whose artwork she doesn't too much care for.
Oh no, for real. It's like literally I started off, it's like, you bastards are making me defend Jay Scott. Damn you.
she had to, and then
I saw that rant. Yeah.
And then she was on the cusp of emotionally breaking down on Geekgasm.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. I went through like all the stages of grief yesterday.
You went through a bunch of stages of grief over J. Scott Campbell?
No.
Who knows? I don't know. I think it was the pressure of ending my Kickstarter in the morning.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Just so much going on.
Yeah. It's like every time we end a Kickstarter, or at least I do, it's kind of like this like the second it ends, it's like this overwhelming pressure is released, and then it's more pressure put on at the same time. Mm-hmm. So it's very traumatic.
she had to that. We had a guy who wrote in, like a gentleman wrote in about his daughter, said that she had been drawing. She's beginning to express herself artistically and finding different things. She's 11 years old, and she's drawing what he considers androgynous boys. Possibly.
Yeah, girls kissing girls, boys holding hands. Stuff that she sees in manga.
Yeah, she's picking all that up from manga. Yeah,
and he's reading more into it than there most likely really isn't.
Or is he?
Well,
and the grandfather said, throw all the art stuff out.
Oh no, that
because
really,
that's your typical grandfather type response, though. Yeah. I shouldn't say that because I'm a grandfather. I wouldn't make them throw away their art supplies. It's a means of expression. So, and if they're leaning in that direction, they're going to go in that direction regardless.
Right. Yeah.
Quite frankly, because I firmly believe it's brain wiring. So chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the way the women on the show, and he sent it to Geekgasm, so it wasn't meant for an indie vote.
Bombs over Baghdad, Andre 3000.
Bob's over.
Bob,
Baghdad.
Bob's B-O-B. B-O-B. Stands for battery operated. Never mind.
No. Although I guess in this context it would be correct, but it's not. But it's not what the title means. No.
She has a house of Bobs.
Yes. There's a Bob's Furniture. Where I am.
Jake said Daphne was roped into that Campbell talk with me and Joe.
Yeah.
He had to add black and blue to that rainbow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We were talking about that before we came on the air.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny because somebody went through and that's not how a real girl looks, and he come back and says, "No, this is how a real girl looks. Learn to draw. Go away."
Right, and
I know what I'm doing.
Much,
leave me alone.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I brought up too. That it's like, how much hubris do you have to have in yourself that you think that J. Scott doesn't know what he's doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, especially on a piece that this is an old piece too. It's like, really, it's like, you really think that it's like he accidentally drew the way he did. No, of course not.
Yeah.
Again, you assholes are making me defend him.
No, no, you're just driving the point home. That's all.
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And in the end, it's like, who cares if it's unrealistic? It's drawings on a paper. Mary Jane isn't going to come to your house and thank you for defending her honor. I mean, really, it's like you're attacking a real person because for some reason you got caught up in a pretend one.
Like we've said before, get off your high horse, get an education.
Yeah.
That's what it is exactly.
Should we roll the intro, Randy? We got a lot of viewers right now.
Right.
Holy crap! Look at all this. They're talking J. Scott Campbell again.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's like,
I might rename the show J. Scott Campbell Buzz.
Oh boy. And really though, it's like J. Scott needed the attention from this
exactly. Yes. No, but it was, in my mind, that was the perfect thing to do for Scott, because somebody come up on him and he's not, what are you going to do?
Right.
So he comes back at him and goes, "No, you asshole. This is what a real girl would look like, you dick. You think I don't know how to draw? I mean, leave me alone, you weirdo."
Yeah, it's like, come on. It's like, the last thing I want in my comics is realism.
That's the perfect F off. Yeah.
Yeah. And never mind that it's like, that me, Jake, and Joe started really going into how this is like, this whole artistic control that these puritweens online are trying to do is actually a form of fascism.
New word.
Puritweens. Yeah, exactly.
Just many years old. I'm going to start using that now. Puritweens. Puritweens.
Yeah, puritweens.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Better than ass queens.
Better. Yeah. I think it says a lot more. Yeah. Puritans.
Yeah, it's like you're fighting with children on the internet.
Yeah. You need to tell them to crawl back in their bucket.
Right.
Their high horse to get an education.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Do you draw the Flintstones naked? There's a market for that.
I'm just dying to get a word in edgewise here. It's like, let me draw my naked Flintstones.
Let me draw them. They're mine to draw.
Leave me alone.
There's a market for that.
Yeah, there's definitely a market for that. And Betty Rubble isn't going to thank you for making me stop drawing that. So
if Betty Rubble comes to your house to thank you, that means Roseanne Barr.
Right?
And,
no.
It's not Roseanne. Who is it? Who paid Betty?
Did you ever watch that old show on CBS called Petticoat Junction?
Yeah.
Wow.
She was the mom. She was the mom in the hotel.
Yeah.
That's Betty Rubble.
Rosie O'Donnell played.
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
Yeah. The original voice actress.
Oh, really? Then it's funny.
And I didn't realize that till I saw a cast picture of the. And that's the mom from Petticoat Junction.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would venture to say that the Flintstones. I was watching a show and they had the voice of Fred Flintstone playing another character, and I was like, "It's just weird listening to Fred like talk," and it's like that's Fred.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, it's kind of like watching the Muppet Show and hearing Frank Oz's voice and all these different characters.
Yeah. We used to. I remember hearing a long time ago that Matt Groening would go back and re-record when he switched voice actors, so that the show had this continuity. I guess he's long since abandoned that.
Right. I mean, because it sounds expensive to do.
Yeah. Like, oh, we got a new voice for this character. Go back and re-record all the old ones.
Right.
And because there was a point where Chris Latta was the voice of Mr. Burns, and it was re-recorded, and you can still find some of the old versions of Chris Latta talking to Mr. Burns like this. But you know, I really like that. I really like that you can find you know, that those old clips online. They're always, you know, they're kept there for hopefully until Fox realizes, hey, that's our property. We can make YouTube take that down.
Well, a lot of times they figure out they get better ratings when they leave little snippets like that up.
Yeah.
Luke says, "Good morning, Luke."
Good morning.
Good morning. Got some spicy stuff to talk about.
Mike Jimmy says, "Good morning. I'm taping LOC3 packages this afternoon."
Oh,
life on quarter.
Life
fulfillment. It's fulfillment season.
Fulfillment. It's that time of year.
Yeah.
My granddaughter is turning 10 this month, and we are slightly more aware of what she reads. Yeah, I'm that grandpa.
Well, yeah, but you should be aware of what she reads, and you know, it's like it's a group effort. You know,
Yeah, Mike Jimmy points out that coffee cup should overflow anytime now.
Oh, right. Yeah.
There's a hole in the bottom of the cup.
Yeah.
Mike Jimmy, nothing to worry about. It's all good. It's comics, man.
Yeah.
It's very
exactly.
The floor on that table is very sticky.
Yeah.
We never.
But you know, that's because we don't clean up after the Cheetos and stuff. So it's all coffee grounds and Cheetos, and
Maid only comes in once a week, and she hasn't come in for a couple of weeks because COVID.
Right? Yeah.
She's got the bug.
Uh-huh.
We're all under quarantine. No, not really.
Glenn said, I didn't know Chris Latta was the early Mr. Burns. Yeah. Chris Latta was the early Mr. Burns, and he actually did some stand-in work for Peter Cullen as Prime once. That was very funny. That clip's online. You can look that up too.
Good morning.
So he's Megatron and Optimus Prime in this one clip, and it's
hello.
G'day.
G'day,
Russ. Comic book black belt. Get your clavicles right. What?
Yeah. The clavicle bone isn't right.
Oh, brother, it's.
And then someone said, "Oh, it's like that in the original art."
Yeah.
And
I mean,
you could. That's on you, brother. And
it's like God. It's like it's like, oh my God. Like I said, it's just another form of.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah, it's like this is really just another form of bullying, where it's like these people are trying to shame artists into not putting artwork online because it doesn't fit their ideal, you know. And then it's like not only that, the really insidious part of that entire conversation too is that instead of admitting that that they just don't like his artwork, which is fine, you can do that. I don't. So, you know, it's like, they talk about how women's bodies need to be broken down into acceptable and not acceptable parts, into this checklist. And it's like, you know, honey, that's not the feminist take you think it is, you know, because it's like they're saying that, oh, if you have this type of body, then it's like you're immediately sexualized and you're inappropriate, and it's inappropriate to show you, you know, in media. And it's like, really? That's what you're telling me? In the end, that's what you're telling me.
Damien says, it's comics, man. The name of the next show.
Exactly. It's comics because it's like, you know, and like I said, in the end, this is just pencil lines on paper. This is ink on paper. These are not real people. You're going out of your way to attack real people because you think the honor of some pretend lady in a comic book needs defending.
She's ranting again.
Yeah.
You know, it's you want to watch it. You want to watch her get mad. You want to watch her get mad.
No. I just want to point out that this is a freaking fantasy medium. You know, there are men with wings, people that shoot bolts out of their eyes and lift tall buildings.
Right. That you know.
F you for your non-realistic analogy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like, look, it's all unrealistic. Okay. Yep. It's like, you know, and you know what? Not for nothing. I used to think the same way. I used to think the same way too. But it's like, you know what? There just comes a point where it's like, wait a minute. It's like, these things don't exist. Who cares? You want to draw horny? Draw horny. Just go all out. You know, it's like, you know, live your truth.
you know, Daphne.
What?
When I was in college.
I
started computer coding, and I didn't. One might say that I have a minor in coding, and you know.
No.
yeah. One might say that I have a minor in coding.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's a completely. Those are the pure tweens. Those are the crazy ass pure tweens on Twitter. If you can really, it's like those are the people you need to. Oh yeah, am I talking in caps lock again? Yeah, sorry.
Awesome. Nothing better than ass queen.
Yeah.
So remember, you can't draw a center what goes on my own walls for at least 10 more years. Yeah, just in time for great grandkids, but then everything will be normal. I'll say this. I think what J. Scott did was J. Scott's not worried about you. He's making $20K a cover.
Yeah, it's like really, it's like, he's still going to be living his life, and you're still going to be a nobody, so this does nothing for anybody.
$20K a cover. Do you realize?
Daphne, you draw furries. You got other drawings.
Oh, well, that's why I love the fandom. That's why I'm not involved in the fandom.
Good morning, all. Let the ranting begin. Sorry, John. We shouldn't be known as the ranting show.
No, that's just me.
I didn't know. Chris Lotto's early Mr.
I read that one, yeah.
John Celestri, hello. How's everyone doing?
Hey, Seth.
We probably need to introduce ourselves.
Yeah, really,
since we've been ranting for the last 18 minutes.
Yeah. My name is Mr. Varian Grant.
Yeah.
Hi.
Fuck them all.
Yeah, not and not with somebody else's dick. Thank you.
Yeah. By the way, if you guys that care that much about these characters, you can commission any of these fine artists to draw you with them. We'll do that.
Exactly. It's like, no, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
We will draw you getting thanked by Mary Jane.
Yeah.
For defending her honor.
Yeah, exactly. For giving her internal organs.
Most questions like this, the answer is Bob, but Luke wants to know.
Uh-oh.
You know how MJ got those Popeye forearms? Ask Bob.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Varian Grant. I am the founder of IndieVolt Media LLC. Started making comics way back in 2008. And I am a father, a husband, a geek, a comic book artist, comic book creator, publisher, reluctant taxpayer. And we decided last night, was it last night or night before, that I was generally annoyed by the fandom. And generally annoyed by the fandom. And this is IndieVolt Breakfast Buzz. How are you folks doing?
Huh.
Yeah. Mr. Zimm.
Says, hi, guys. We got Petticoat Junction. Sharon Tate was on that show.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Morning, everyone. Morning, everyone. How are you? I'm just reading my notes. I just went over and made my Facebook thing public because it's set to, it always comes out as friends.
It's annoying.
So there's a bunch more in the comments now than what there was before. Hello, everybody. I'm Randy Zimmerman. I've been doing alternative and independent comics for many years. Arrow Comics, Caliber, Antarctic, bunch of alternative and independent comic companies. I've freelanced for a lot of folks, done just about everything in this business you can imagine for quite a few years, retailed for a decade, coordinated conventions for a decade, did my own newspaper for a decade, done a lot of stuff, been a lot of places, and now I'm here on IndieVolt. And I'm reconstructing Arrow Comics 4.0 over on Facebook and YouTube if you want more information on that. And we have like 9 days left in our Indiegogo campaign for the IndieVolt Revolt book, named after this very podcast and radio network, featuring a lot of talent that you hear or see here on the show doing short stories, beginning, middle, and ends, in order to entertain you in one book. So if you ever want to know exactly what Daphne's stuff looks like, now she's got a great mischievous story in the book. JD Calderon is there. Everybody but Varian. Pretty much. Varian and the Indie Princess aren't in there.
That $20,000 I asked for, man. I told him, I gave him my rate, and he was like, what?
And the cover spots filled up early, so we weren't able to get Varian on a cover, which is regretful, but happens.
Yeah.
So go over there and take a look. Indiegogo, IndieVolt Revolt, and get in on it now, because as soon as that campaign is done, I am not going to put it in demand. We're just going to print to pretty close to orders, a little extra for damages and whatever. And then after that, once it's done, it's done. It will not be reprinted. It will not be offered again anywhere. Further campaigns will not have it. We're going to go on from there because Arrow Comics plans on offering IndieVolt Revolt as a comic, a regular 32-page book that'll be bi-monthly, available to the retailers beginning in August. So, And a lot of that material, well, some of that material will be new material in the small book, and some of the material that's in this current campaign will not be in that series. So get that book now. It's the only place you're going to be able to find absolutely everything. So
Yeah,
do that. Get there. And we have since I'm talking, we also have I have an offer open for the next retailer to come in on the retailer tier, which is $75, 3 copies of each cover set. There are 2 cover sets, so you get 6 books with a $19.99 price tag on it for $75 for you to put on your shelves and sell. The next comic shop that takes me up on that retailer tier, I will personally send them the first two copies of the first 2 months of Arrow product for them to also put on their shelves and enjoy. So nobody's taken me up on it yet. I've been offering it for a week. So come on, folks. Let's see it go.
Miss Lage, who are you?
Yes. So, hello, everybody.
Wanted to give Daphne a time to breathe anyway.
I know, really. It's been a roller coaster since Monday. My name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York, which explains a lot. And I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, so I think I kind of know what I'm talking about. And I am known for the funny animal fantasy Tall Tales, which just ended a Kickstarter yesterday. Thank you everybody for all your support for that, for my trade paperback. And I'm known for my other comic, the medieval soap opera Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which is currently on Kickstarter right now. And I really want to thank everybody for that, because this funded in 3 hours because of you guys. So thank you very much. So now it's all about getting all those stretch goals. So you can check out both of my comics on talltalesonline.com. That's TAILS, and egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. And you can also watch my videos on how I make these comics on YouTube at Daphne Lage, Lage art.
Russ wants to point out that he knows all the acceptable female parts.
Right, yes.
Glenn said sure people blow things way out of proportion.
Yeah, they do. And they do it for attention, which is just absolutely ridiculous, because it's fake concern on top of everything.
Luke says, heck, I'm not even using real paper.
Yeah, digital art now.
Yeah.
Jake says, you want realism in my pterodactyl tentacle dick hentai?
Right, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right, yeah, exactly. We are in the most absolutely creative medium that exists. I mean, it's like we're only limited by our imagination. And boy, do you learn quickly how many people's imaginations are limited. Really.
Yeah.
2 rings for that.
I'm sorry, I was sending out.
Fur doesn't cover tatas that way.
No, for real. Look, that is actually like that's why I don't get involved in furry fandom drama, because there's literally people who argue that. So it's like, you know what?
We should see the exposed.
Joe's in the house. Morning, Joe.
Good morning.
Could you imagine that? Someone sending you a message? Daphne, we should see the exposed breast of that lamb.
No, really. No, for real. You joke, but no, those are real comments. Those are real arguments.
Where are the goat nipples?
Right, yeah.
Critical
exactly.
Blast says the fandom is a menace.
Yes, it really is. It really is.
Only the non-creative ones.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you guys from Indie Boat Radio.
Okay.
And this is going to get you guys maybe talking. Let's look at the chat talking too. So guys, feel free to chime in here.
Okay, cool.
We will maybe offer some open links maybe at some point. But so this one here is from Kali. Kali says, problem of crowdfunding is the creators are getting used to even the little money it provides. Even before the pandemic, there were creators scaling back on cons, saying that Kickstarter Indiegogo makes them more in a year than collected conventions. My concern is that there is nowhere for fans to go after the campaign ends to get the books. What happens if I want to get on the ground floor for a book, issue 1 or volume 1, and not have to spend the extra dough to catch up? There's no e-stores. Creators seem to shun the idea. Is it because crowdfunding is free? I understand what he's saying. So basically, he's like, look, I heard your book is good, but I want to get issue 1. Well, I see, you got an active campaign. You might have a catch-up tier on there, but issue number 1 is no longer available for separate purchase unless it's on eBay, which Larry just posted someone had his book up there, I think for $99, $150, something like that. So when those limited books are there, people put them on eBay, the flippers, and now you've got people not being able to afford your book. What do?
Wow, that's a good question. Yeah.
Glenn Ford just said that Spider-Man book they were bitching about probably just doubled in price.
Oh yeah,
probably.
yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I bet it did too, Glenn. I bet you're dead on. That'll be on. Somebody will be talking about how great that book is and how valuable and how high it has jumped in the last week alone.
Right.
I'm sure they will.
Are people leaving money on the table by not making itself an online store at least?
Well, I mean, it's like, I mean, it's a genuine concern. It's an actual. It's something that I've thought about too. It's like, I mean, there's a bunch of points in this thing. One about conventions. It's like, yes, that's true. That was something before the pandemic that I was complaining about, which kind of made me lose patience with conventions. Is that I was making more money on Kickstarter and crowdfunding than the money that I'm making on crowdfunding now. The last time I made that type of money at conventions was back in the 90s. So you can imagine the gap. So that really didn't encourage me to actually enjoy the process of going to conventions, especially since that is a process and the layout of money that it requires. With Kickstarter, I don't have to lay out any money except for getting proofs and printing and shipping and whatnot. So, my overhead just doing crowdfunding is significantly lower than doing conventions. However, after being locked down for more than a year, I'm dying to get back to conventions again. So, there's that. I'm sorry.
No. I had to go out and trademark this. Russ says we all love boobicorns.
Oh yes.
I've got that trademark now, Russ. You can't touch it. Coming soon. That'll be a book from Shocker Comics, Boobicorns.
There you go. So the other issue is what happens if somebody misses a Kickstarter, and there isn't like any other outlet to get these books. I mean, in my case, it's like, well, one, I really have to fix up my store and update everything and and whatnot. But the thing is, though, the trick is that the conflict. It's more of a conflict. If I offer up, say, my extras on my store, will these people come back to my next Kickstarter when I offer up these books again? So in my case, I offer up pretty much all my books again. So I'm running a Kickstarter right now for issue 2. Issue 1 is available. So you can get a catch-up set with issue 1 and issue 2. I mean, it's available. So it's not like you're missing out on that issue 1. In terms of offering it up at like in other places, that's the thing that I kind of have to juggle. It's like, if I do that, will people come back and support the next campaign? So I really understand the frustration. I'm still sorting it out myself as to how to appropriately move forward with the books that I'm offering.
Is that Zing Zen?
Yeah.
Zing Zen, I'd like to come on here one day, talk to Varian. Zing, send some stuff. You have a campaign?
Yeah, he's actually
he's a regular on Facebook. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
He's actually just signed up for Liberty.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you'll have to come on.
Yeah. He does beautiful digital work.
John Celestri says, realistic. My angel can give you a flaming finger.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Fix her in the post.
I understand the frustration of the question.
Most people will at least collect earlier issues in a trade paperback compilation, and Daphne's done that with her Tall Tales a number of times.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, I mean, some will. Here's the thing too. a lot of times you can. The cool thing about it is you can reach out to some of these creators and say, "Hey, look, I don't have the money to buy, issues volumes 1, 2, and 3, the catch-up tier, because some of these they can run $60. I am interested in your story though. I was wondering, can I buy issue number 1 separately? They may be willing to do a transaction with you outside of the campaign.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, I mean, now that you kind of think about it, I have to go back to my add-ons and see if I'm even like just offer up issue 1 as an add-on, if that's a thing. But I guess it's because it's just issue 1 and issue 2 right now. It's just really easy. It's just easier to just buy a catch-up tier, because if you're on my Kickstarter now, you want both issues. So
you either have the first one, or you want to get them both. Yeah.
Right. But it's funny. If somebody asked me can you add issue 1 as just an add-on? It's like, I wouldn't have a problem doing that. But like I said, right now, it just doesn't seem to make any sense, because you're buying issue 2, so you can get the level that has issue 1 and issue 2. So,
But if you just want issue 1, if they're like, well, I just want to pick up issue 1, I don't want issue 2 yet. Right. It's like, you could have an online store, but the other thing about that is and I'm looking at this from the creator standpoint. Yeah. Oh, if I just have a collection of issue 1s, where am I housing those? Is the quantity that I have, is that put into am I taking that in account of what I'm going to be selling to this campaign? So if I move 70 units through the campaign, how many do I have in stock? I may only have.
I mean, we're going through the numbers right now, deciding how many of the trade paperbacks we're going to order, because I have to get that out. And pretty much it's like, we've decided that we're probably just going to give ourselves 10 extra, 10 copies extra just to have. So we're printing really close to the chest, I guess, or the vest, or however that phrase goes. But it's like, but that's the thing though. That's also a thing too, is that I know for a fact that we move more units on the campaign than we do on my online store. Like, if I were to put these trades on my online store, maybe I'll sell 1 or 2. So, in the end, it's like, I'm kind of better off waiting for the next campaign.
What I told Lola about her book, and she's gonna listen to me now, which is remarkable. I said, if you go back to your second printing, you're gonna have to change the cover somehow, even if, or at least go inside your book and put second printing, because I didn't want her to say, oh, well, I need more copies, because like we were talking about, if you go back and print more issue 1s, does that upset the fans
that's another question we were talking about too. Go ahead and finish your thought.
Does that upset someone who says, wait a minute, I backed this book, and now it's like, I was hoping that maybe it might be worth something, because we all have that in the back of our head. Maybe it'll be worth something in the future. I'm going to enjoy it, but maybe it's going to be worth something. And now when a person keeps going back to the well, reprinting that same issue with no changes, it gets hard. They no longer know which one is the first printing, unless you corrected a misspelling or you changed some type of color in there. There's no way to tell which one is the first printing.
Well, unless you run in the indicia and put second printing in.
Well, yeah. So I said, even if you don't change the cover, at least do that, so you can show this is the second print, this is the first printing. Yeah. At least do that. I've got some Marvel books that I got a Deadpool book that's worth a little bit of money now, because I just happened to walk in the comic store and they had it, and I'm like, oh, I'll buy it. And then the next week it's on one of the websites. It's like, this book they're going to a 3rd printing already.
The book is incredibly hot.
Yeah. So you should change the cover at least. People like I know Lola says she's going to change the cover to lore to a different when if she jumps platforms, she tries to go over.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But even when you go for reprints, you should try to do something different with the book. If the covers can be expensive, but at least, like you said, Randy, in Indicia, put second, third printing, third printing.
Yeah.
I mean, but here's the thing though, because me and JD were talking about that, because it's
printing.
like, it's especially, you see, but that's the thing. We're talking about, like, when we used to back in the day have to commit to thousands of copies each time we did a printing. I understood that, I understood okay, this is a first printing, second printing, or whatnot, but now it's like I can literally get books done 5 at a time, 10 at a time, you know, and it's like, yeah, it's like you know, and it's like, and honestly, it's like, me personally, I'm not concerned about the collectability of my book, and putting together the files for me is a drag, especially when I have so many multiple variants of the same cover. So I don't see a point in, for me, putting in first printing, second printing, third printing, when print on demand allows me to print so little. I mean, and then it's like, what am I going to put in 50, you know, a 55th printing? I mean, how ridiculous does that get? Like,
or they could always talk to Tomorrow distributors and get whatever they need.
You know, I mean, you know, so for me personally,
that's a reference back to Tuesday's show, folks.
Oh,
if you haven't seen that, you need to go back and.
So yeah, so for me, it's like, I'm kind of like, it's not that I'm not really conflicted on it. I guess because the whole collectability, I mean, it's like, no matter what, like, I can literally count how many issues I've printed, you know, and it's less than 100, you know, of my first issue, and it's like, and you know, if you count all the physical copies, and yeah,
Luke Stone says, go ahead.
I just don't see a point in like doing, you know, like first printing, second printing, third printing. I mean, unless I'm doing an absolute collectible, but yeah, I just think that I print so little. It's kind of like, who's really paying attention to that? You know?
Okay.
Luke says, talk to your local comic shop about getting the books in, or go to Indiegogo on In Demand. Talk to the con organizers about making the situation better for the indie creator. That would be a good thing too.
Yeah. Because it's like, don't you? Because Varian. So it's like, so Varian has a distribution company for independent comics, and it's like, and he has Eagle Raven issue 1 available on through his. You know, I don't know. And the thing is, though. Do you have a list of retailers that people can go to, say, if they are looking for just issue 1 and they want to support their a local comic book shop at the same time?
Well, what we're doing is we've asked some of the stores, can we put them on we have on the site, on the ledg.us site, there is set up there. It's a store locator for you to see what stores are buying books from.
Liberty,
but that's up to the store to want to put their name up there, because what I discovered very early on, what I thought about is that a lot of these stores, they don't be bothered. So like, they want the customers to come in, but they don't want some slick creator saying, I'll just go get all the stores and I'll go do it myself. They don't want to deal with they don't want to deal with 10, 20 different creators, because some people make it bad for everyone else.
Yeah.
Calling repeatedly, calling every day. They're not calling maybe once a month or once every 2 months. They're calling every day. Have you sold my book? Seen my money? Here's the paper. And they get really rude about it. So they don't, you know, did you get the books? What condition are they in? Some of these people are ridiculous. Rich, I sent you a link if you want to check it out.
Gabriel says we really need a reprint option, as the flippers and scalpers are ruining markets and running fans off of entire genres and markets.
Right. I mean, yeah, because because I think that it's kind of weird. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's like, for me, that the whole putting in first printing, second printing. I mean, if you're jumping crowdfunding platforms, I can understand the benefit of changing a cover. Like, I'm already thinking about that for my first trade paperback for Eagle Raven, because I want to do and I want to finally do that Indiegogo campaign in conjunction with the Kickstarter campaign. So like, Indiegogo would have a different cover, so that you know, so at least it'd be something different for them. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I think that there's a little too much of an obsession with first printing, second printing, especially since sometimes there's really no other difference with the two books.
Back on what we were talking about before, Jake says, I dread the day #Drawn Lives Matter.
For real. No, it's that ridiculous. The discourse is that ridiculous.
I want to go to Joe said. Joe says, why is supporting the campaign a problem? If you are offering new content in the campaign first, people will come and support. I find it a bit of a cop-out based on fear of fan drop-off. I mean, but some people just don't have the money, though. Some people, like Travis says here, I have a kid in England that can't afford the books at all, and I send him every issue because he is so excited about the book. You know, there are people who can't afford it. I want to buy issue 1. and then I'll try. I mean, yes, you set up a cycle. Now they need issue 2 later,
Right.
issue 3, or maybe they do come into some money and say, you know what, I'm going to get this series of books now.
Right.
I think not offering, but let's just look at release books, not having a place where a person can pick up separate issues or outside of Kickstarter or Indiegogo could be a bit of a problem. I mean, just because there is some money out there that you're not be able to get because you don't have that service. Now, you know, that's for each creator to determine how they feel like doing business. You know, I have an online store. We move a couple comics over the year.
Yeah,
you know, not enough to you know, it wouldn't be enough to pay for the store. So I stripped down a lot of like the little extras they used to give us, a lot of little plugins. They used to, you know, let us make coupons for $5 extra and do this for this and that. You know, you used to have all these different plugins you could use. So you could, oh gosh, you could have your store automatically print out the shipping label for you. That was $5 extra. We took that off because, you know, the store isn't paying for itself anymore.
Right, yeah.
So we had to strip down to the bare bones version of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it was, we would have kept that up there. So I mean, you got to remember, people might not have stores, like that question's there. People may not have stores because they can't afford it, and it's free. There's no money up front to run that Kickstarter store, that Indiegogo store.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I think also what a lot of people do, because like I said, it's like I move most of my books through campaigns. And I think also it's gotten to a point where like Kickstarter and Indiegogo has kind of turned into kind of like the Amazon of independent comics, where it's like that's where everybody picks up their stuff in like a one-stop shop. You know, you're not going through, you're not digging through like dozens of individual creator shops. You just go to Kickstarter and you're just, everything is on Kickstarter. Like you're just shopping on Kickstarter. You know, it's like you have your credit card information already set up there. No matter how many books you buy, you don't have to like keep individually putting in your information. It's all there. One click. So yeah, I think also it's like it's the convenience that makes people shop more on crowdfunding campaigns than going to individual stores. So that makes it more worth it for us as creators to cater to that.
Travis says, I always massive print issue once, 1,500 to 2,000, then a little bit less each issue after, but I do plan on going pretty tight on the trade.
Yeah, because it is expensive. The trades are always more expensive. So
first print must
be unique.
Yeah,
right.
I mean it's you know, I try to do that. My first print of Catharsis does not look like the same. The cover is the same, but there's more stuff on the second printing cover. There's a quote from a fan. I think that might be it. That's the quote from the fan is the biggest thing. And in the third printing, we had changed our company's logo. So it's, you know, a different, the quote's there and then our company logo is different. So that's how you can tell which printing you have of that book. But, and then there's some pages that are, some of the ads in the book are different, obviously. But, so each of those books are unique, but that's a luxury that, you know, I had of time, you know, to do it. I didn't have, you know, if I didn't have the time, who knows how I would have done.
Right. Oh, but that's also nefarious.
I don't necessarily agree with that, because if you announce that it's a limited run and then you stop and you're done, just like what we're doing with the Revolt book, we'll be offering the 32-pager through the direct market after that. But this is the only time we're going to do a collected, a collection like this. And the 32-page book at the direct market will be in black and white and color. So there'll be color stories and black and white stories spread throughout that.
Yeah. But, the book that we have on,
I don't necessarily agree with that, because if you miss out, then the book gets, or if you do a limited run, the book automatically becomes more valuable, especially if you do sell out.
Well, but I think that the point is that like no matter what you do, there's always going to be a contingent of people who are going to be upset with your decision.
Well, yeah, you can't please everyone. No.
The book you have on Indiegogo right now, that's 130 plus pages, right?
Yeah.
So when you go to direct market, you're losing 100 pages.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. But you know, if you keep buying it every other month, you'll get you'll eventually catch up there.
And like we had I've been following a situation that Larry's been posting. You know, someone's got his book up there on eBay for I think it's $150.
Who?
Larry, Niobe Comics. They got Niobe. They got an issue of Niobe for $150, and it's sold.
Oh,
All right.
And it's sold. It's like so he went on there. He's like, hey, I'm gonna put my books up here because someone's flipping my books. I want to make that money.
Right.
And I made the joke that if you don't buy your books from me, we both lose money. But it's are we facing that? Are we now getting flippers buying our books and running them up on eBay? I mean, because Daphne, you said you had that. Randy's got books on Amazon.
Right. Yeah. I have
Oh,
people. Yeah. I have people trying to sell like one of the original Tall Tales ash cans from back in the 90s for like $500, and it's like, really?
That's
really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry that there's people that aren't informed will end up getting hoodwinked into doing that. But I'm like, gee, if you're going to sell a book for that high a price, come and talk to me. I got a whole case of them back.
I mean, and that's the thing too,
let's
because
make some money.
like, I kind of, because it's like, it kind of makes me wonder. It's like, do the people who are looking at these books on eBay, do they even bother trying to look for us individually as creators first?
Yeah, I don't.
Do they
think so.
even know that we exist? They're just looking at stuff on eBay and not knowing that, hi, I'm still here. I've been functioning under the same website for decades.
Yeah.
So
that's why you've got shysters up there selling original art that they've sat down and traced over a light box.
Right. Yeah.
Here's a piece of Jack Kirby. I'll sell it to you for $100.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with selling books. There's nothing wrong with selling a book on eBay if it's worth something.
If you can make that much money, I want to know those so that I can help you. I want some of that money too.
There are flippers who buy these books and they hope that you're not going to be able to, that you won't reprint issue 1 or issue 2 or that special limited edition cover because, like if I go get a J. Scott Campbell cover, if I mortgage my home and go get a J. Scott Campbell cover, there's a good chance that that cover is going to sell, especially if I say, I'm going to print 500 of them. Well, I'm going to probably I'm going to burn through that 500 in 2 hours.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. It's like if there's 2 people that I would love, I could get, if I could afford them, it would be to get variant covers. It would be Joe Linsner and Arthur Adams. That I would love to get, but that's an expensive prospect, and I know that those covers would move like that. Yeah.
Art Adams, one of J. Scott Campbell's biggest influences.
Yeah. Because he's everybody's Arthur Adams is everybody's biggest influence.
I love that X-Men poster he did I think it was a cover, but I loved it for years. I bought it from Kmart. That's how I'm dating myself here. Well, my parents bought it for me for Kmart.
Best thing Art Adams ever did was Gumby and Pokey.
Oh, yeah.
That was an awesome book.
I seen this X-Men poster.
Godzilla stuff is.
I was in Kmart with my parents. My dad bought me this poster, and I loved it. And it stayed up in my room for years. And I don't know why. I didn't even know who the artist was. I didn't care. His poster was just cool. And then when I found out later it's Arthur Adams, like, oh man, that makes sense. And then the other thing is, now I had to go back and find them because the one that's on my wall got ripped up. As time goes.
Is it that really, really classic X-Men group poster? Yeah, right. Yeah, I see it in my head. Yeah.
And I couldn't find it, and I'm looking for it online. I keep finding lithographs for like $300, and I'm like, I don't want. Well, I finally found the poster. I found it online. It was. Gotta look for my wife. It was $55.
Oh no!
This is about 5 years ago.
And and it's like, and back in the day, you could pick up that poster for like $5.99 at Toys R Us. It's like,
I bought it. It came here in the mail. I opened it. I had a frame ready for it. I put it in the frame immediately. That's good. Yeah. And I'm like, I haven't put it up yet, but it's behind me in a frame on the wall, but it's not up. I'm like, oh, I got it. It's mine. It's safe. $55 for that poster. It's not signed or anything. It's poster. Right. I wanted that badly.
I can understand that. I can understand that.
They had
that's a classic. That's a classic.
Had an old Foom poster by Steranko that was a collection of Marvel characters that I had on my wall when I was a kid for quite a while. I saw it at a recent convention and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Maybe I could get that, and nostalgia and all that. Yeah. $125.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could have talked them down, right?
Huh?
You could have talked them down.
Probably. But not that far. Superman number 75 did a great job with designating printings without changing the covers. Had a small 2 for the second printing, three
Right.
lines for the third, and everything else was the same.
Yeah.
And also Pete Cimetti of Alternative Comics.
That's exactly,
does great multiple printings. When he puts all he does is change the logo up in
Right.
the corner to a different color.
That was the
So that
reason
you
why
can tell.
we had that discussion, because we were watching one of his videos and he was talking about like barcodes and how like the barcode indicates printing. So it's like, and it was just, just kind of like, but how, and then it's like the whole like, well, how important is it and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, to me, it just seems like a collector thing, like it's not really like, because I thought it was something that you were legally supposed to do. And it just turned out, no, that's something.
But it is a collector's. There is a
Right.
section of the market that is a collector's market. It needs to be. It does need to be respected. It really does.
Another question from Bethany. Hold on. Let's see. Sorry, I'm sending out a Facebook message.
Right. Okay.
Sugar Chris says, "Hail, hail, everyone! Hail, Chris!
Hail.
Hey, Chris! Hail, Chris!" Oh,
Joe
hail,
says,
Chris.
"Varian with print on demand. You don't have to worry about that until there's a major change in the book. Print on demand allows the creator to control the print run better than the fan demand via print offset."
True. I mean, you could always say there's
Yeah.
a 100 copies of this particular version out there. You know how many you printed. That's cool. Because I mean, I had a. I'm sorry. Tomorrow distro will be downloading PDFs.
We're downloading PDFs and printing those off for local comic shops next week.
Right.
We tomorrow printing.
That is so grimy, though.
Were you there for that one?
For Tuesday? No, I wasn't listening. No, I kind of I saw a post that you had put up about it, about some printer doing some shady side business with people's books, and that's just so grimy. Yeah.
Seth says, if I could afford a framed show cover for film finale, I would. Yeah, I mean,
we all have. Yeah, it's like we all have like that dream variant cover.
Yeah, And to answer the next one in the chat, Mark, yes, we did, and Daphne's talked about it extensively.
Check out the beginning of the show and the and my live stream from yesterday.
Meanwhile, Lucas, Pixar, MCU, etc., continue to seek engaging ideas. Here is material to develop. What anyway?
Right.
That's a lot of caps.
That's a lot of caps.
I was triggered by the caps.
I
haven't been this triggered by caps since Winter Soldier and Falcon and Winter Soldier. Get it? So from Bethany says, right then, I really don't know if I should continue on in comics. I'm a fairly sexy woman who draws sexy women in her books.
Okay.
Some of the fans, however, have gone above and beyond their appreciation. And by above and beyond, I mean below and lower.
Yeah.
I've received pictures of my characters, of my art being secreted. I'm going to read that word every day. Secreted on by males, as well as people doing things to my personal picture.
We just want to remind everybody that we are TVMA DLSV.
Right, yeah.
Where the V stands for Varian.
I hope you aren't eating breakfast, by the way.
And the D stands for something else.
So you know what, Bethany? I would ignore those messages. Don't let them get to you. Don't get out of comics because you're getting that type of stuff. It's gonna happen. It doesn't happen to me, but that's because I'm a guy.
Bethany, you need to also understand that we come from a mindset of Beavis's. For the last 30 or so years, most of American comics have been aimed at male power fantasies, which means large-breasted women, large-muscled men in a more than fantasy setting, over-sexualized, you might say. So you are going to get there's a certain aspect of this, the collectible market that is made up of immature Beavises that have not really gotten out of their parents' basement. So you're going to have pervs, to put it nicely, doing pervy things. Don't let that reflect the entire market. It's a small and ever shrinking percentage of that market. As this art form grows and more people such as yourself get out there, and I'm sure your artwork that you are drawing especially from your perspective, is very important to be out there, shown and displayed, because everybody needs to be in this art form. And unfortunately, some of those everybody's are non-thinking, immature beavises.
Right. And speaking from experience, being a short, crabby troll doesn't it protect you from those people either. I mean, it's like I do furry porn, and you know that look.
I'm short and crabby.
Surprised. You'd be surprised at what people infer from.
I think she meant another definition of crabby.
You know.
And she's not a crabby creator.
No, but I'm short.
Like what you keep calling certain people crabby creators, and it's just,
I'm crabby. I'm look at me. I woke up this morning like I'm alive. Damn it. You know, I roll out of bed every morning like.
There's a crabby though has a whole different definition in this market as well.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but it's like, yeah, it's in a weird way. It's going to sound weird, but it's like, you know, in the end, it's not personal, because it's like, if you're like a woman drawing in public, there are guys who are going to take that as an invitation, no matter what you look like. I mean, you got to remember, they're people who figure out how to My Little Pony. It's like, it's like,
and it's actually calmed down a lot, Bethany. Back 10, 15 years ago, you would have been looked at as a unicorn, and the situation would have been at least twice as bad.
Yeah.
Or you would have, I talked to a young lady, I won't put her name out there, but she said the weirdest thing she ever got was she came to her table and it freaked her out. And I said, oh, what a sweet gesture. Gesture. And then she said she found a box of chocolates and roses on her table at a con.
That's extra. One, never eat anything some rando leaves on your table.
Well, it was wrapped. It was a brand new box.
So it was sealed. Yeah,
it was a card to a special someone from a secret admirer.
Oh no.
And she said it freaked her the hell out. Like, I have to leave. Let me box some of my shit up and go.
I have a stalker.
Yeah, no, really. That shit's not fun. Okay.
And it was and the problem,
done that.
The problem was it was someone who the fans weren't there yet. So it was one of us. It was one of the professionals to get there early. They came in like
see, and that's also a problem with modern society. That guy was probably thinking he was being extremely romantic, and just privately, or not so privately, putting out the gesture that he is very romantically inclined to that. Now, there's so many worse ways to go than to leave roses in a box of chocolates.
Right.
He thought he was being Mr. Romance, and she took it as Mr. Stalker.
Right. It's like, and you see, and this is the thing too. This is kind of related to guys who think that the lady that the lady ringing out his groceries is flirting with him because she's required to be polite to everybody. Mm-hmm. It's like, look, we're at a convention. This is our job. And
not My Little Pony. I used to draw that for the comic.
Thing I've ever had to draw.
Used to do that too. So it's like,
did Russ do that as well? Did Russ draw some My Little Pony?
No, that was Glenn.
Okay.
Russ, did you ever draw any My Little Pony? Let us know.
He did Ben 10. I think he did.
Ben 10.
Mostly Ben 10.
But no, I've tried to show kids how to draw My Little Pony in classroom, and they are very difficult to draw. It's
any type of simplistic looking style. It's very misleading. Mm-hmm. It's very misleading. But the thing is, so it's like, so at conventions, it's like, look, that's our job. We're there to work. Mm-hmm. So it's like when you're trying to do that nonsense at a convention, you're being that guy thinking the cashier is flirting with you because she's being polite. So,
and again, we're 10, 15 or so years ago. We're a very closeted socially society. A lot of us comic creators are stuck in a room drawing all day, whether it's the attic or basement or a side studio or what. We don't get out much and know about social mores, the way to properly handle yourself in society. This guy could be watching all sorts of romantic CM films and thinking, yeah, I'm being Mr. Romance. I'm
right, yeah,
chopping
and the
off
thing is,
them
like, yeah,
flowers
and I understand where that
you know.
comes from, but it's like, no, that secret admirer shit nowadays. I mean, unfortunately, look, it's
No.
tainted goods.
No ponies, only studs. According
Yeah,
to
exactly. It's
thanks,
like
thanks for clearing that up, Russ.
yeah,
Well-
it's tainted. The idea is tainted goods. It's like,
Yeah.
whatever you saw in some, in 16 Candles or something, it's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
You're right.
Society has shifted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I happen to know. I'm holding up a radio.
Yeah,
outside your girlfriend's
don't do
window.
Yeah,
We'll get the
don't
cops
do
called
that.
on you.
Look,
Yes,
yeah.
it will.
Especially,
It's like, look, I don't want
behavior.
John Cusack doing that either. So it's like
It will get the
nothing
cops.
personal. Just
It-
don't do that.
It will get the cops called on you, especially if you're in my black ass in a white neighborhood. Anyway,
But yeah, but don't give it up because guys can be creeps. That's going to happen anyway, unfortunately, and it's just another thing we have to maneuver around.
Seth says you never eat the chocolates on the pillow or the table. Prison rules dictate that makes you their
Wow. But you know what? It's like you joke, but there are guys that actually think that, oh, like if she accepts the gift, it means that I'm reeling her in. And it's like, no, it means you left free chocolate on the table. It's like,
you know what?
I take it more as an expression from a romantic heart than a stocky heart.
you know what? Now,
You know though. Here's
But
the thing.
I'm the guy who keeps telling his wife, I don't bring you flowers because I haven't done anything wrong.
yeah.
Well, you know what would have pissed them off if you would take those same box of chocolates, open them up, and let fans get them. Oh, she might have had a knife on her table the next day, and like, you bitch,
right? Yeah, you see, and that's the thing too. You don't know how these people are going to react either. So it just don't make it awkward. Don't make it awkward.
And unless you know where the candy came from, you don't know what's in it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know what? It's like, and you know what? Even if it's sealed, because it's like, I have access to shrink wrap machines and things like that, and it's like, no, it's like you don't trust anything. I'm sorry if that's kind of a put off, but
I'm gonna say it.
Go ahead, sir.
He could have opened that box, put Fermundi cheese all over it, rubbed the Johnson all over the chocolate.
I wouldn't put it past people. I wouldn't put it past people.
I'm so dark.
Do not eat food from randoms.
Why do I have these thoughts?
The Gorilla Milk Chocolate Company. So,
yeah, he could have. And then you're sitting there eating it. These truffles are delicious, I bet.
Glenn says, I also drew Postman Pat for a while. The reference Bible I was given was incredible.
Yeah,
I've seen some.
Imagine, yeah,
I've worked commercially and have seen quite a few corporate guidelines.
They're intense. They're intense.
You see what we done? Nefarious says, lesson learned, don't give women gifts.
You know what? Yeah, you know what? If you don't know them, don't.
Always save it for
not a good look.
Always save it for a special occasion. The only time I gave my wife any flowers, I wrote on the card, and I didn't do anything wrong.
There you go.
And she's kept that card to this day.
That's the running joke,
That's the romantic gesture right there.
If you do not personally know a person at a convention, don't do that. I mean, it's like, look, we will not think any less of you. Okay.
Gorilla Milk. You know what? I remember being in elementary school and getting my little girlfriend something, and her parents got really upset.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, why is he getting you gifts? And I remember my dad and his friend said, "Oh, calm down. His penis don't even work yet." It's just like, I didn't know what that meant either. I'm like,
is that what he said?
Yeah.
That's that J. Scott Campbell response. Stop it. Fuck all.
Yeah, no, for real.
Get off your high horse.
That's the only part of the
argument
that's valid. Just stop it and F off. Mind your business. Go eat your food. That's it.
Kudos to your dad.
Yeah,
Get off. His penis doesn't even work yet.
It was a whole thing. It was like, he brought his girlfriend a gift. He's in.
But then again, I think it kind of like it relates to that question from yesterday, where it's like the girl's 11 and they're already inferring so much, from her artwork, when probably all she's doing is just exploring what she's seeing in the mangas that she's like, she's not even thinking about like what it means, two boys holding hands. It's like she's probably not even thinking about that. She's just drawing two boys holding hands.
Yeah.
But it's her parents who are like kind of like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and it's like, no, relax.
Seth said, "Want to be sweet and support a favorite female creator? Buy the stuff she's making and promote her work." But I've seen that go sideways.
There you go.
I've seen that go sideways. Hey,
But you know what? But it just goes to show you, if a guy is determined to ruin your day, he will.
Women take note. Never give guys a gift they'll suspect it's loaded with blue
pills.
Blue pills.
Yeah. Blue. I don't want this.
Yeah, it's like no gift giving at conventions if you don't know the person. It's that simple.
And leaving the child.
Well, this person obviously knew who the person was. He was there before the show opened, so he was a fellow creator. Somebody worshiping a woman from afar.
Yeah, and it's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Because here's the thing too. She might like confidence. We should probably would have asked her to take her to dinner or something. She would have said no. Say, oh, okay. Well, because I remember seeing that a guy went to a young lady and asked her if he could take her to dinner sometime.
Okay.
And she said, no. I'm not interested in anyone right now. He said, okay. And then when he walked away, she's like, oh my God, that was creepy. And I remember asking her how. He just asked you out. You told him no. What was creepy? He didn't say please. He just said, oh, okay, fair enough. And
it's
he walked off.
Like I was saying, one man's romantic gesture is another person's stalking us.
Right, exactly. I
never know how it's going to get taken.
Yeah. It's you know what? It's like, sorry, dudes, but a lot of dudes before you ruined it for you.
You walk up like
it only takes a couple of pervs to spoil it for everyone.
You walk up like I did Lola. Walk up like Lola. Look at her up and down. Say, hurry up and give me your number before I don't want it no more.
Oh, brother. It's like, well, you better walk on that.
No. She actually,
I give you a hand upside your head.
No, Lola actually came after me. I didn't know she liked me. And I got to the point, like a lot of guys, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let the girl make the first move. So I didn't know she liked me. I didn't realize she liked me until she started calling me like at 3:00 a.m. And I'm like, what does this woman want? And I talked to her and hang up. It was only like about 2 months I realized she was calling me at booty call hours. And I totally didn't read that. And I would talk to her for like 20 minutes and hang up.
Yep.
Like, what was I doing? Dummy.
Look, there really is a fine line between being creepy and being flirty. There really is.
Randy is all, romance is still alive. And Daphne is like, come near me and I'll cut your heart out.
It's like, yeah, your knees are looking pretty tasty, boy.
Troll.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the reality of it. It's like, look, you know what? Look, once you have some dudes try to slip handcuffs on you, it kind of changes your perspective a bit.
Yeah. I can see where you're like
standing now.
Yeah.
Randy, get with the times. It's not stalking. It's called standing now.
I think standing is something a little different, but
well, it's like
it can still get super creepy.
Look at my stands. Look at them all.
Standing is what that rando was doing to Mary Jane in that picture. It's like, oh, he's standing for Mary Jane, so he had to protect her honor, and it's like, again, she's not real.
It's like virtue signaling.
Yeah.
Oh, well, here's the problem.
Is that named after Stan Lee? I hope.
No, it's
Eminem song. The Eminem song. It's an a Stan is an obsessive is a dangerously obsessive fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind having some Stans in my life.
I don't know. I said, fandom frightens me nowadays.
Long as they were hot and cute and
Victoria's Secret models.
Victoria's Secret, listen, I mean, like, Victoria's Secret models. Elijah Dushku,
right?
Who I came this close to meeting because she's a cousin of a friend, and I was like, I want to stalk your cousin. You don't understand about the. It was like kind of weird. This one is also from Bethany.
It gives a whole different definition to Stan Lee there. Then
this is also from Bethany. She's like, I have had fans. She says, okay, I'm sorry. I've had fans reach out to me. One in particular who told me about the dreams he's had about me at night, guys. And
cut that shit out.
Yeah,
again, that's a perv BrEaKfAsT that doesn't socially know any type of
that person
skills.
They think it's romantic and it's not.
Yeah.
They think I'm going to tell her about what I've done. A voice of reason.
The voice of reason.
I also call him the voice of reason because you remember V for Vendetta when the voice would come on and it was the British voice and it's like, that's what you get, America. That's what you get. Go ahead, tell us, Ross.
Yeah, that's what you get for giving everybody participation medals and let them do whatever they bloody well like. I don't like the way that body looks on a piece of art. Oh,
Yeah,
sod
no,
off.
yeah.
Go and get yourself a sod in life.
Yeah, no,
All
for
right,
real, for
Amen.
real.
You know,
Real.
sod here is completely different.
Oh, yes, I know. I understand. There are lots of different interpretations. I know the word that I'm not allowed to use for cigarettes. I understand.
Yeah.
It's aluminium.
Aluminum, yes.
Aluminium.
And I've had people give me things at conventions, and but I'm not a woman, so I'm not as suspicious.
Large burly men.
I fully understand how it can be a little bit tricky, and I would imagine if you've had a set of cuffs put on you, I wouldn't know about that kind of thing.
They tried, yeah, they tried.
I'm probably the wrong demographic. It's not a good thing. No,
Yeah.
so I can understand why you are so suspicious, but I kind of lean a little bit there with Randy. It's like kind of the guy's kind of trying to be nice, and thinking,
like I
I'll
said,
do something really nice. I'll leave us. If they were gay, they'd love it. Oh, he gave me roses. It's like, what's wrong with that? But because it's a girl thing, it's like, oh no.
Yeah,
that's
we have
suspicious.
look.
So,
It's like, unfortunately, we have a completely different experience for this. So it's completely. I'm sorry, but like the creeps among you ruined it. So this is what we have to how we have to view things.
I will say this: if a guy came and left me flowers and chocolates, I'm gonna be like this. Because this is like how it goes. You see, that guy bought me some flowers and candy. Weirdo.
These things a little salty.
Weird.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
These truffles are delicious.
Yeah.
My stomach talks first.
Eat the chocolate and then complain later.
Yeah.
Tycho just got back from his shot. He has a vestigial tail now. But
and it's like, and your arm is gonna fall off in 4 days.
Careful, folks.
Jake says,
mine did, but I grew a new one.
Yeah.
It's all good. You're Varian. They might look bright and bubbly with curves, but it doesn't take away from the mental duffel bugs. Yeah, I mean that's how I got married. So
mental duffel bags will get you every time.
Zombie slashers, buddy movies, or something. Yeah, that's what John Dunn is talking about. He likes those type of things. We have those on IndieVolt TV on Roku. If you're interested, John, go pop that into your Roku box and check them out. Luke says, I've had a set of cuffs slapped on me. She was really handsy too. It was totally inappropriate, and I told her superior when we got to the station.
Yeah. I think she patted me down a little roughly there. That's not a gun. That's not a gun.
I think it's time to change the Twitter badge with the words, if you clicked here, go touch grass.
Right, really. It's bad over there. It's bad.
Go touch grass.
Yeah. Go touch grass. Go touch grass. Oh, yeah. It's like
just
that's
go talk to people. Go talk to people in the physical world.
So
I'm thinking back 10, 15 years how handy that expression could have come in.
That's true. And
hey,
you know
kid,
what?
go touch grass.
And right, yeah, really. You know what? Every iteration of that phrase is correct.
Russ, what would I've been seeing? We talked about the Jacob Campbell situation earlier, but I've been seeing people say they're saying, "Look, the artist was in the right. The artist shouldn't." Jay Scott is petty for doing what he did. Now, I don't believe he's petty. I don't believe he's petty for saying correcting the corrections. Maybe he just had enough of your shit and he finally snapped. The burning bed thing. All right, I'm tired of this. But if someone were to go take some of your art and say, "I'm making corrections," I want to give Def a big tummy like mine, and I'm going to give him sagging man boobs. Yeah.
It's not realistic.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think I'd probably ignore it. To be honest, it's like, what's the point? J. Scott Campbell. I'll be completely honest here. I don't like his work. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan at all. I just I don't know what it is about it. Technically, I mean, he does beautiful work. I can see that, but I'm not. It's not. It's just not on my top 10 list. But saying that, I couldn't go around correcting his work because it's his. Do you see what I mean? It's like it's his style, and what this person did by trying to correct was actually show up their inability to draw well. It's not about realism. It's about accurately understanding how things are put together. So you have to go out, you have to understand anatomy, you have to have a library of things in your head if you're going to be a good comic book artist. Okay, so you can draw in all kinds of ways. But once you then get that right and start applying style and start applying energy and dynamism to your work, it's not about realism anymore, but it's about convincing the viewer. So you have to make the viewer believe. So it doesn't matter whether you're doing rubber hose arms on Ben 10 or whether you're drawing women like J. Scott Campbell does. Okay, it's about convincing the viewer of the art that that it's solid, that it's kind of taking up that space, as well as the excitement of the style. So it's not for anyone else to tell him how he should draw a person. And then if you do try and do that, and you yourself don't have the underlying ability with anatomy, you're gonna show yourself up to be an idiot.
Yeah.
And that's what this person did. Really, there was no need for him to go back. I don't give him. I wouldn't want to give him a hard time for doing it because I could understand why he did it. But from my personal point of view, I just ignore it and move on. Especially if I was getting the kind of money he was getting every time he drew a color.
Well,
and
that's
also
true, but there comes a time when you've had enough, and you just sit there and you go, "Hey, look, idiot! This is how you draw. I know how to draw a woman."
Exactly, which is why I would never dream of saying he's wrong for doing it. It's just something I wouldn't.
It's like, remember, it's like, look, Rob Liefeld to this day gets shit for his artwork, and I can only imagine, like how absolutely up his ass so many people are for J. Scott. So it's like, there comes a point where it's like, it's like the only answer you can give. It's like, fuck off. And good for, and it's like, what, good for him, because it's like, I mean, honestly, I would have preferred if he ignored it, because even saying fuck off, you're giving this person attention. For that nonsense.
That's very true, but there comes a time where you put your foot down and you go, "Hey, look, weirdo. I know how to draw. F off." That keeps other weirdos from coming at you and going, "Oh no, look, this is how it's supposed to look."
Luke was absolutely right as well. The funniest bit was the Popeye arm.
That
was fantastic, because there was such an obvious error.
Because not for nothing. This is, I mean, it's like this thing is not unique. I mean, I've been constantly seeing different iterations of this where someone thinks that, oh, I can improve your artwork. And it's always somebody who isn't as skilled as they like to claim they are. It's not like it's Neil Adams coming in and telling J. Scott, the work would have looked like this.
That's because the experienced artist, the artist that really knows what's going on, has better things to do.
I have to say as well that the point of this was not actually correcting.
It was
censorship.
It was absolutely trying to shame.
Which is awful.
It's just like these people have figured out a way of bullying that makes them look like they're being progressive when that's the last thing.
They're white knighting. They're white knighting.
And they're white knighting a fucking cartoon character. It's like, really? It's like, what is you're expecting Mary Jane to come to your house and thank you for giving her internal organs and saving her from the tyranny of J. Scott Campbell artwork? I mean, really? It's like, how dumb are you?
If it's correcting unrealistic details in the art or physically possible phenomenon, then all of it should have received equal attention,
the entire
right?
piece.
Or am I missing something? It's just MJ's body.
But like I said, that's the thing. It's not the feminist take that they think it is by correcting a female body, because all they're doing is telling me that I am only worth my individual parts. You know, that it's like you're telling me that this body part that I have in a particular way is completely unacceptable in this artwork, is completely unacceptable for media. So what are you telling me? You know, I'm the real person here, not Doodle Mary Jane. You know,
And like, you know, Lola's had that situation where she's like, well, okay, so I have, you know, larger breasts. Am I now like unpersoned?
Yes,
like,
yes, you are in a certain way. That's exactly how they look at it. That I am now an unperson.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Nice. I remember she told me there were some girls. Oh, look at how I can walk on big fake boobs like that. She's like, they're not fake.
Look at her butt.
Yeah.
Her butt is so big.
When I hear that, I'm like, where? When I hear that now, I'm where is it? Is it? Oh, that is nice. That is wow. You know, so it's funny how tastes change after a while.
Yeah, it always, you know.
I think big butts were always a thing, though. I think because when you look at the women's dresses back in the day,
he made a song about it.
Yeah.
They used to put extra padding and little pillows up on top of it just to show, hey, I can, you know, hold a pillow.
Yeah, that's.
I think what you've got is you've got a bunch of people online. Most of it is 12 psychos on Twitter.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah,
a lot of their compatriots are now the people that are running boardrooms. And that's why the corporates get involved in all this wokery rubbish. Right. Okay, and what happens is you get a whole bunch of people who
face it, Tiger, you just gave me organs, Jake.
You've got a whole bunch of people who are just insistent that things should be seen a certain way, and that's if you don't think a certain way, look a certain way, do things a certain way, then you are evil.
Yeah.
There's no halfway house, and apparently you can't. Well, I don't know. I mean, what do they want from these comics? Are you suggesting that comics should be a certain way and that they're all for kids?
Yes, actually, that's exactly a lot of the things that I'm seeing online. What it is that they want everything scrubbed and sanitized in case to protect the children. Like I said, it's like if we're going back to 80s satanic panic and everything, can we at least get Dungeons and Dragons back on TV?
Are they protecting kids by watching by looking at some of the X-Men shit that's been going on?
Yeah.
Oh no, not right now. No, that's not meant for kids. But the big thing now is that we're in a comics medium and absolutely nothing in this market, I wish, should be realistic. None of it.
None of it. None of it.
Talking animals, getting mad, you know, big punches thrown, like what
Boobicorns.
Russ is saying. Boobicorns. All of this needs to exist because it stretches the imagination. And anybody out there searching for realism, they're in the wrong genre. They're in the wrong art form. This is not where you go for realism. This is where you go for high thinking entertainment. You know,
you know what?
I just lost what I was.
You go there to get away from it all. You go there to
high level escapism. That's what we're here for.
It's escapism. It's always been escapism. Always will be.
You don't want realism here.
No, you don't want to have a message and everything. You don't want to have politics and everything. You don't want to have censorship to say you can only do things a certain way.
Yeah. No, it's like it's kind of like the arguments about Barbie, where it's like everybody keeps trying to blame Barbie for bad self-esteem in children and this, that, and the other thing. And they pretty much came out with, with a Barbie with different body types, which that in and of itself is fine, but the thing is though, is that the concern is completely misplaced because when I was growing up, it wasn't a Barbie telling me that I was fat and ugly. Okay. It was real people doing that. It wasn't the Barbie that was doing that. So to say that, it's the Barbie doing this. No, it's shitty adults in real life doing that. Put your anger where it belongs.
They've yet to release good personality, Barbie. But
hello, Michelle. Hope you're doing well.
We had when I was working on my book, and it was like during the Christopher Nolan Batman phase. I'm like, oh man, people want realism. They want to see how, and I got a supernatural book, and I started trying to figure out how to make things work like the supernatural, try to work in the
Right.
real world. And it took me like maybe 4 months before I decided, what the F am I doing?
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, people like Randy said, it's supernatural. You are, you know, you don't, it shouldn't be, I'm not trying to find realism. Yeah, there could be some things that I can tie in and say, oh, that's why that happens.
Yeah.
But I was trying to like go down scientific routes of why certain things would happen.
Right, yeah.
And it made me not enjoy making the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's easy to fall into that trap as well
Mhm.
because you know, in and out of comics, comic books for the last 30 years, looking at the way trends and things have changed, and coming around and appreciating what really inspired me and what I think is really truly great about comics. And comics are for everyone and for everything, and superheroes are a very small part of that. But Americana superhero comics are a special thing in themselves and are an art form in themselves. And for me, that's what comics are. And I grew up with lots of different comics, okay? But for me, that's my thing, all right? And I saw that change over a long period of time, and I got caught up with the whole, well, maybe their costumes should have seams, you know, and maybe they should have belts rather than just things holding up on their own. And I'm all the way back now the other way. It's like, no. Spandex is great. You know, I love
Superman
capes.
wearing his underwear on the outside.
Just make it up. Just have fun.
It's an aesthetic. Yeah.
And that's something Hollywood's missed out on too. Because if you go back and you look at the first 2 really big superhero movies out there, that was Superman, who was a guy who had fantastical powers and was out. You will believe a man can fly. And the second one, which was sheer genius to me, was Burton's Batman, which took an entire and lifted you into an entire different world. Everything was redesigned.
Yeah.
You were definitely not in reality when you were watching. You
even look at the way. Even look at the way he directed that, and he tilted the cameras and stuff. But obviously, there was a shot towards Batman 66, but a lot of it was about the framing of comic book panels. And that's what he wanted in.
The design of Gotham was unrealistic. The cars, everything about that show
was a fantasy. That was a fantasy that you do not get in Christopher Nolan's Batman.
Yes, exactly.
No, Christopher Nolan's Batman is 007 with a cowl.
Yes.
That's something that I really love about Warren Beatty's Dick Tracy movie. Because it takes you and puts you in a completely different world. There's so many primary colors. When it was first out, I went and saw it at the theater and went, you know, it's all right. But the more you see it, the more you look at it, especially now when you see all of this barrage of realistic superhero movies, the more you realize what Beatty was going after. All the primary colors that were there in the flash and the bright colors were intentional in order to lift you out of that world. And that's even something nowadays. The bigger Marvel movies are the ones that are totally unrealistic. Guardians of the Galaxy's got a talking raccoon. Thor Ragnarok's got all these crazy situations happening. Then Marvel makes a lot of money doing that. But, you know, how is it? It's more important for the escapism to lift somebody out of reality and not have to worry about everything have to be totally realistic or totally explainable. So sometimes you just don't want that explanation.
You know, you mentioned,
and there was an issue with fantasy for a while too, which part of the reason why it took me so long to finish writing my book, because it's like for the longest time there was all this talk about realistic fantasy. Oh, this has to make sense in your world and this, that, and the other thing, and that kind of made me stuck for the longest time because it's like I wanted, you know, it's like, oh, because, you know, I guess Lord of the Rings, it's like, oh, everything has to kind of like, you know, make sense and this, that, and the other thing. And it made me stuck because it's like, oh, well, this is the way fantasy is supposed to be. And then I finally got to see The Witcher. And The Witcher has such fuck it energy that it's like, it doesn't need to make sense. You know, it doesn't need, it's fantasy. Like the guy who wrote it was like, look, it's a fantasy. Everything goes. I mean, even the fact the way he incorporated kind of like really anachronistic language. I mean, I swear, the second I heard Geralt say fuck for the first time, I'm sitting there going, you could do that. You can have modern slang in a fantasy, and
Why
it's
not?
like it opened up the floodgates in my head, and that's how I was able to get the rest of the book out and finish it in a way that I wanted.
Yeah, Jake, there's entire genres out there that cover
Yeah.
speculative fantasy.
Yeah,
You
I
mentioned
mean,
Some really good books.
I was
done
literally
about
allowed to be fantastic in a fantasy.
you mentioned Dick Tracy earlier, Randy.
Yeah.
And I picked this up this week.
that. There you go.
Celebrated
Yeah, it's a
Case
good
of
book.
Dick Tracy.
Look at that.
Yeah, it was.
Show how thick that book is. You can't see it from just the cover. Yeah, turn that. Yeah, and there's like 5 or 7 strips per page, something like that.
it was. Ended up being
a great book.
Ended up being $11.95.
Really?
Yeah, $11.95 at Second and Charles. And,
Yeah, you got that at a good price.
Yeah, it's got a lot of original stories in there. I've been looking at them. It's got a nice little write up in the beginning, talk about some of the creation of Dick Tracy.
And those are the key points in a lot of classic stories on that in that book. Yeah.
But it was funny because I think it was my son. Yeah, my son. He said, these characters on there, they don't look real, but yes, they do. You talk about realism. Everybody knows somebody who looks exactly like these characters.
Yeah.
I know that guy.
Yep.
I know that guy. That's Lola's grandfather right there. What's his name? Mole. That looks just like him. Not her great grandfather. Just like him.
We've all met these people at conventions.
Yeah.
And if you go in and you read those stories, this is what got Crime Does Not Pay into so much trouble. They are the most violent, vicious, just murderous stories. Flat Top, I think, gets caught in a chimney and ends up dying and rotting. There's just crazy realism in that, in an unreal setting. That got a lot of Chester Gould got a lot of heat for that kind of stuff, but he literally started this entire crime genre that spawned Goodfellas and Godfather and all of that. All can go right back to Dick Tracy and that era of the gangsters.
And probably one of my favorite shows, Law and Order.
Yeah,
I'm telling you. Yeah.
The cop procedural, because he made a big thing this was long before TV come out. He made a big thing about Crime Stoppers, and did little bits in the Sunday pages about how to cut down crime and the latest in criminal procedures, and plus he was the first one to have a have video conferences. He still has anti-gravity chairs that have never come out.
Speaking of Dick Tracy, I bought a Fitbit watch.
Yeah.
And I literally had to turn off this thing comes with Alexa on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, because you're supposed to be able to talk to it. And it's like, oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
None of that Dick Tracy shit for me.
Yeah. Well, I had
it listens to you anyway, whether you've got it turned on or not.
I know.
I had
like I was saying, this book or the strip was known for its horrible realism, yet they had Moon Maid running through. They went up to the moon a couple of times and had a space station. It was really crazy stuff, but the realism was what drew people in. The otherworldly, the fantasy elements, the characters not being drawn caricaturized, were really the attraction on the strip. That strip was incredibly popular. Still is to this day.
Mean, I admire a lot of artists who can draw quite realistically.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm drawn to the ones that don't.
Yeah.
And I think a perfect example of where I'm at is the people that I admire the most, Sinnott and Buscema.
Hey Terry, how are you?
And if you look at their work from the 60s, 70s, 80s, there is an essence of reality. Like Buscema was a master of anatomy, but he was also a master of stretching it and adding to it. And the faces they're kind of based in reality, but at the same time a little bit quirky. And it's those kind of sort of the way that it can make you, draw you in by giving you that sense of solidity and three-dimensionality. And it doesn't have to be as detailed as that. For instance, if you look at Mike Mignola's work, He's so hugely stylized, and yet he still draws you in with this three-dimensional weight of his work, which is incredible, especially when you look at it and it's got flat colors on it and stuff, and it still manages to do it. And those are the ones. And it actually, in all fairness to Campbell, it's not my favorite work, but he has the same thing going on. If we're talking about anatomy and stretching and pushing the boundaries and giving it energy, that's exactly what he's doing in his work. Exactly what he's doing in his work. Okay, sometimes he pushes the sexuality buttons. It doesn't matter. That's what he's doing. Right. And those are the artists that stand out over time. And those ones that create energy and character in their work. There's a whole bunch of artists out there who are brilliant at doing realism, but probably won't be remembered.
And again, Campbell came in at a time when sexuality was really, over sexuality was really selling in comics. So that's why he still remains a popular artist and still commands $20K a cover.
Wouldn't that be nice?
This day.
Ooh, 20K.
The most freeing thing that I realized that happened to my artwork, the most freeing realization was Mobius eyes and Manara noses.
Wow.
Once I realized, you know what, if minimalizing the realism to those particular points is good enough for these masters, I should be able to do that too. And once I started, because again, it freed myself from the pressure of having to be realistic.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's like it's just like opened up this new aspect of my artwork. Once I realized, you know what, there's the nose. I'm done. It works.
It was C.C. Beck's dot for eyes.
Yeah.
For me back when he was doing Shazam back in the 70s. And the fact that Carl Barks could take and tell a hardcore adventure story using ducks, that really got me into comics. That got me really looking at stuff going, oh, this is an entertainment, a communication medium where you can do all sorts of stuff with just little wiggles and lines and dots and ducks and whatever. So that's the fun and the escapism here in comics, and all the various things. You can say anything in this medium. You just have to figure out how to make it marketable and entertaining. That's the key. And realism, to me, in comics, not entertaining.
No, it's not. It's not.
Certain works are. You get somebody who's stylized, like Will Eisner doing A Contract with God, who's talking about a very realistic subject, but it's in his style, like what Russ was saying, his own individual look. Gould's the same way with Dick Tracy. You can bore anybody all day with police procedures, but a guy with a flat top or a guy with multiple brows or whatever, it's going to keep your attention. Your own individual look and style.
We have one more from Indie Volt Radio, and I think you guys will appreciate this. This is going to have some of you feeling the type of way.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
So here we go.
I might still have some feels left.
Yeah. This is from Alec. And Alec says...
Alec has written in before.
Yeah, I believe so. He said he's wrote in, he's emailed in, so this is from Indie Volt Radio. He says, okay. Oh, there we go. He says, with digital art, my main problem is that artists will not post their pencils or original to their DeviantArt or ArtStation accounts. A lot of inkers could utilize these pieces to learn how to ink properly. Why aren't more artists releasing their digital pencils now to those sources? It's so easy. It's not like you have to draw and then scan anymore. You know what, Alec? Here's my issue. Here's my issue with that. And I understand what you're saying. I ink my own stuff, and that's probably and not all the time. I do have someone that inks it for me as well. But okay, check this out. I have an inker, and he inks my stuff for me, and he'll charge me. And it's like, okay. But then I know good and damn well that they go online and download pencils from well-known artists and ink those, and then take those to conventions as original inks. So the untrained fan who comes to the show says, "Oh, that's an original ink." Yes, it is. And they think that it's that piece that they got printed on their wall as a poster, or they got that comic, and they think they're buying that. And this is the original. Now they know it's not the original work,
Yeah,
the pencils, but they think it's the original inks. And only when they get home, maybe look at the piece side by side, if they ever do, they realize that, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. This isn't the same. But too late. Yeah, too late. My inkers already got you for $300, $400. That's how much he said his pages for.
Wow.
I think it's kind of disingenuous to ask someone for
what? I'm in the wrong game.
Yeah. I think it's kind of to like go download artist pencils for free, and a lot of artists do. They post their pencils. They post their pencils up online for free, and then tell someone, "Hey, I want top dollar for the inks, not $50 a page, not I mean, I know an inker. My inker charges." He charged like $200 an image. Like, especially like $200 an image. Like, I had some character designs. Once I caught him on a bad convention day. I'm like, hey, you want to make some money? He's like, how what are you doing? I said, I'll give you these character shots, ink them for me for maybe I'll give you $35, $40 a page. And he did. He knocked those out in a weekend over a slow con. He was happy to get the money. I was happy to give it to him. But there are other pages he's done. He's like, hey, this is gonna be 200. I'm like, 200? Who do you think I am? But I mean, I pay it. But I will say that there's a lot of artists who aren't posting their stuff up there because of that very thing. Because inkers are, printing it all for free. It's free. It's up there, and they're inking and taking the cons. I mean, I'm gonna get some Daphne Lage pencils and try it.
Well, I mean, the funny thing is that like I like posting up like pictures of my pencil so that you really get a sense how by hand I'm doing this stuff. So I mean, I think I've posted up some pencils, but usually like comparing it to the inks and the color, so you kind of get like a process shot. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, the question kind of like didn't go the way I thought it was going. So I don't know what to think of that.
What's about those pencils, Russ? What's about those raw pencils, yo? Hand them over.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's like, no, I'm not going to do that.
I don't know. I mean, I ink a lot of my own work anyway.
Yeah.
So, why would I want somebody else inking my work that I hadn't vetted?
Yeah.
I know that sounds very arrogant, but we
didn't pencil that artwork for you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of it's kind of weird. Yeah.
It's like every time my work goes out and it has my name on it, and if you're inking it and not putting my name on it, why?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So every time that work goes out and it's got my name on it, it reflects on me. And if you're an inker and you're just starting out and you ink over something and it's crap, that's my name on there.
Yes.
So, and I don't mean to sound arrogant or mean or in any way, but it does directly come back to me.
Right.
So, if I get somebody else to ink my work, I've gone and checked their work out. I've seen what they can do, and I'm happy to work with them in conjunction, and they do their thing. And then I'm happy to apply to have my name next to theirs, and they may well make my work look better, which is brilliant. That's great. But I know who that person is, and I know how that happened. If I just hand out my pencils to everybody and they start inking them up, and they're not very good, then that looks bad on me, or it could potentially look bad on me. And as a professional, I'm not in the business of having that happen. I want to stay in control. And then on top of that, if somebody took my work and then inked it and sold it, I'd be pretty pissed off.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be the part that I kind of like get in my craw a bit.
Mm.
I mean, the closest I got was somebody took one of my black and whites on DeviantArt and they colored it. But at the same time, they sent it to me to see it. And then what I did was I reposted. I reposted it going, oh, this person colored this piece in. They used these, they used my inks for this. And it was kind of like a mutual thing. I mean, like I didn't know the person who did it. They just said, oh, I thought I'd practice some coloring. Yeah. I said, okay, let's have a little fun with it. And I posted it. But yeah, the whole, it's that whole selling thing. And it's like,
I've handed out inks to people to let them color it because
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of coloring myself.
Right, yeah.
So I don't mind that so much, and I do feel personally you have to go a long way with colors to ruin good lines.
Yeah,
okay.
True. Yeah.
You got to go a long way to ruin good lines. A great inker can mask some of the pencils if they're a truly great inker. If they're just an inker that, and let's face it, there are two types of inkers. Okay, there are inkers that can create, okay, that can draw just as well as the pencilers, and so if they embellish, they make the inks their own. There are other people that literally just ink over the top of lines.
They're tracers.
Okay. All right, and those inkers aren't going to improve your pencils in any way whatsoever. Okay, but the embellishers, the artists, will potentially improve your inks, and then the colors could potentially improve both of those things. But the chance of the colors really defecating on the lines from a high height is unlikely. You could put all kinds of colors in and people can still appreciate the lines.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Rush made a great point. I know an ink who does that. They print off the originals. They print them off. They take them to cons. And they want like tables full of just quote unquote originals. They're known to commission artists. Not even commission artists, but they're like, hey, I'll ink that for free. As long as you give me an ability to, like sell prints of it. But when you see them on their own, their art, it's like, I see why you're inking.
Right. Wow. Yeah. That's usually an issue too. Yeah.
You can't give me your art materials now. These are tools. These are tools for an artist. You don't need any of these things.
Right.
You can tell that they can't draw.
Yeah.
They can't. And they're trying, bless their hearts, but either they don't have the time to really put into it, or they just I don't know.
Right. But I have to agree. But I think Randy summed it up though. We're not posting this stuff up for you for that reason. It's like, I'm not putting up pencils so that you can, so that you have access to them, to ink them and do whatever. It's like, I'm sharing my work, so that people can see it. This is not like some kind of transactional service I'm providing. I'm just sharing artwork.
Yeah. You have to give me these pencils.
Yeah.
How am I going to get any better?
And the thing is the way to get better is practice.
Right, exactly.
And there are pencils out there you can get that other people have put up.
Right.
So it's not beholden to every artist, to every penciler to put up their pencils for everybody to get better at.
Exactly.
I got better at what I do by getting better at it by doing it all the time. Not
God forbid.
Not by somebody else giving it to me in some way. And I know you still have to do the inks and all the rest of it, but you can't expect artists to just hand over. Right. I'm keen on helping anybody I can. If people come to me and they ask for advice, or if they ask for things that I can give them, I will give them to them. Okay, because I think it is about sharing. It is about giving. If I ever got to a point where I was at a large company like Arrow Comics, which is going to be a huge company in the future, huge. I would definitely be giving back to other people. Definitely, if in any way I could possibly do, but that doesn't mean that you have the right to ask me. It doesn't automatically mean you have the right to, because I've done it and I've been successful and I've gained the experience, that I should automatically give that to you. Okay, you got to try and get it for yourself.
Yeah.
And if you find someone that, like I say, I'm prepared to say, you can have some of this, I can help you with that. That's great. Okay, but don't expect it. Find your own way. You could go and find inked work. Okay, but the lines are already inked. shade, scan it in, knock it back, and do your own inks over the top of that.
exactly.
You don't have to get pencils.
Yeah.
Just keep practicing.
Yeah.
Jake says there's two types of inkers. There's Richard Friend, and then there's Vince Coletta. Jake, you're absolutely wrong. There was only one Vince Coletta.
Some people say thank God.
Thank God.
What Varian said though is that it's like you have these inkers who don't know how to draw, and it's like, well, I learned how to ink by inking my own stuff. So maybe if you spent more time drawing so that you can ink your own stuff, you'd get better at both skills.
Don't. There is a tendency to think that inking is just tracing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I know a lot of that has come from, and I was guilty of this myself. But I know I ended up just inking my own work because I'm a control freak. But a lot of that has come from some very spectacular work over the last 20 years, and a drive towards realism and a drive towards this finished pencil. And you see some of the work out there, some of the artists, just fantastic stuff. And of course, what can you do to it when you get a finished piece that is so finished? How can you ink it?
Yeah.
All you can do is just follow the lines. Okay, that's all you can do. And it used to be the case that pencilers would rough out a pencil page, and an inker who was just as good an artist would come to it and finish the page off. And I would love to work like that. I'd love to be able to find an inker like that and work on a monthly book with them. That would just be that would be my dream to work in comics. Okay, but it isn't going to happen. It ain't going to happen.
I saw some penciled pages one time that Steve Ditko did for Rom Space Knight.
Oh,
and
wow.
Oh, yeah, it was literally an education, because it was basic shape, sent.
Yeah.
And
that's comics as well, isn't it? We're talking pulp. We're talking.
I want to say Garvey. There was a team, a pair of inkers on it at the time, and I can understand why now, because it was just basic layouts. I was sitting there looking at that going, wow, that's crazy that it's just blocks and circles and long cones and stuff, because the Space Knights were all basic shapes piled on top of one another. Basic shape, sent.
Yeah.
And then to see the finished work, it was like night and day.
Randy, last question is for you.
And you could, if you were Tom Palmer, you could take that on real easily, because you were like a finished. Tom was a artist in and of itself. But,
and this one's from R. Quinn, Randy, and you're not gonna like it.
R. Quinn,
yeah. R. Quinn says, okay, there we go. Put it over there. Okay, you guys are full of shit. R. Quinn, you guys are full of shit, especially you, Randy. You talk about comics being cheap, disposable entertainment, yet you bolster for indie comics, which are priced to not be that. There's no way I'm throwing away a $15, $20, $40 book.
Yeah, I mean, but that's it's a legitimate. That's legitimate comment. Yeah, of course.
You have your opinion, Quinn, and yes, comics should be disposable, and at one time they were incredibly disposable. But at the other, now we're in an age of crowdfunding where a graphic novel is going to cost you $15, $20.
Yeah.
I'm putting books together here for Arrow Comics. They're going to come out at a $4.99 price tag. By the time I bring them out, Marvel and DC will be at the same level and print thousands more than I print. So their profit margin is going to be a lot thicker than mine. But they're still disposable. Welcome to the inflation into the new age. A $5 book is the same as a 10-cent book way back when.
If Marvel and DC went back to printing on newsprint, actually advertised their books properly and produced some decent content and sold to hundreds of thousands of people every week, okay, then crowdfunding wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Because people would already have cheap work. Cheap comics, okay, that would be constant. Comics used to be pulp. It was about the story. It wasn't about the collectivity.
Yeah.
It wasn't about it wasn't about the message that they sent. It was just entertainment, and it came out on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Okay, the world has changed. And unfortunately, Marvel and DC are now selling them for $6. Some of them $7, $8 for a 32-page book. It's like, Arrow Comics are going to be cheaper than that for a 32-page book, and that's amazing. And it's just a different world. Yes, it should be cheap, but
I'm also not crowdfunding those books either.
No, exactly. No. So,
or if I do, it'll be in a large bundle with a number of them in order to make it worth your money.
I think you also have to look at crowdfunding books as being artisan.
Yeah.
Okay, they're a particular kind of product. The book, it's not just the book. It's about connecting with the creators. It's about going along the journey with making them. Some people even look at it in almost like a video game way, as they see the figures mount up and see, whether they can get the perk or not, or the stretch goal. And you bring people along with you, and you give them the best possible product you can give them at the end of the process. It's more than just getting a comic from a bookstore. There's a connection there between the creator and the backer, the reader, the audience, whatever it is, and that connection actually has been lost in mainstream, and that's why crowdfunding is doing so well at the moment, because the connection has been re-established by actually being able to connect with people, connect with the creators, but it does come at a cost. Simple.
And what Quinn doesn't realize, or what he refuses to realize, or can't wrap his head around, I don't know, is the fact that in order for this art form to be wide-ranging, in order for it to get out to a large audience, it has to be accessible. And that means it has to be accessible at all sorts of different levels. You get over to Japan or even England for the longest time. England had 2000 ADs that were incredibly inexpensive, very high concept, and were out every week, and were always there and accessible. And what Quinn doesn't realize is that there's a lot of different levels. Yes, this is an art form, absolutely. The crowdfunding books are a high-end, like what Russ was saying, a high-end artisan art form. But Marvel and DC have been around for decades. And if they really wanted to grow an audience, which they don't, and they don't care about the printed work anymore, they only care about the IP farms that they have, or being research and development for further horrible shows up the line, is that you have to have that level of accessibility. There was a period when newspapers were the rage, like we were talking about Dick Tracy earlier, where you could pick up a newspaper for a dime once a day and read the further adventures of Dick Tracy. You can't do that very much anymore. You're lucky if you're able to see it every Sunday, and that's if you even get a newspaper. Most people don't even do that, or you go up on Comics Kingdom or some website out there, and it's still accessible, but it's not widely accessible, and it's not in the format where you can actually physically touch it, keep it, collect it, and hold it, or cut it out and paste it together into a large book, which is what we all used to do when we were kids with the regular daily newspapers. There has to be a multiple different sets or different levels of this. Yes, there has to be art books. Yes, but there also has to be a cheap accessibility. You go over to Japan and you see a Shonen Jump. It's as big as a phone book, and it's $3, $4, $5. I don't know exactly how that would translate nowadays, but it's on the cheapest paper. It's got little small snippets of the story that you can buy every month or every other week, or however the book's frequency is printed, and follow those properties. But you can also go back to a bookstore and buy a better album that's thicker, that you can put it on your shelf, that's all that one strip. Or even still, you can go back to your bookstore and buy the art book that has all of the breakdowns, the character sheets, the background drawings, and all of this. There are a lot of different levels to this art form, and you have to understand and accept that, instead of just trying to tell us that we're full of shit.
Well, and also you can't hold independent creators to the same standard as a billion-dollar publisher.
That's what I'm trying to say.
That can afford to make affordable, accessible comics, but don't. And then conversely, you have people like Peter Simeti, who goes out of his way to do the newsprint and price his stuff at $1.50, but then he says that that retailers give him pushback because, well, why should I put a $1.50 comic in my store when I could put a $5.99 comic in that same spot and make make a better profit margin for myself?
That's where we need newsstand. That's where you need to put. That's where you need to be able to distribute to all kinds of different shops, and so that you can. First of all, you widen your audience, and secondly, you don't have to have that kind of financial arrangement.
Right. Yeah.
I always wonder if somebody
they used to have comics wrapped in bubble gum. It was probably long before you were born, but they used to do that.
Yeah.
I always thought that Peter Somebody should just price the books at $5, kept them on newsprint, price them at $5 anyway, and the
people buy them.
People were like buying them.
He does. He's got $4.99 books out there, but they're 80 pages thick and have 3 issues worth of content.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this is a guy who's actually trying to walk the walk,
and in many different ways.
Right, and the thing is, though, and it's just funny to see all the pushback that he gets for doing the things people claim they want to see in the industry. So it's a whole thing going on. It's like, I understand your frustration. Support indie comics, but you're spending $15 on one issue. I understand that frustration.
What, Russ? You got a picture up here? This is
not mine. God, no. This is John Buscema. But the example here is this is not one of his layouts. So this isn't one that he would do 5 a day of. Okay, so he might maybe do 5 or 6 layouts a day and get inkers to finish them off, and those inkers would be true artists. But this was a bit more detailed. So this is something that he might even have gone on and inked himself. I don't know exactly. I think this is a later one for Silver Surfer.
Actually, I think if he was gonna ink it himself, it'd be a lot looser than this.
A lot looser than this. Yeah. So I'm still not there yet as far as that's concerned.
You just think you're not there yet. I saw the short story that you did in the back of Only Death Can Save Us 1, available in August from Arrow Comics. Holy crap, folks.
If you look at this, so this is these are my pencils. So you can see I'm probably just a little bit too detailed still. I'm still putting too much in before I go to my own inks. And that's about timing. That's about getting confident and getting your own timing right. So that you, and also getting confident enough with a brush that you can say, no, I'll get that later. But that's the measure of the artist inker. Being confident in your inker that they can finish off what you're doing, not just trace your pencils.
I started getting a little too confident a little while ago. I started drawing. I would draw the character and get the basics down, and then I break out the ink pens. And Lola would tell me, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "You're starting to do this early and earlier. It used to be where you wouldn't ink until the page was finished in detail, and now you're going in there with the inks, as they're drawing for 20 minutes."
I would do that too. I would do that too. Yeah.
And
that's the end game.
Part of me is being overly confident in my skills. And knowing, I really messed that up.
I mean, for me, I went a little bit in the opposite direction because I used to do really, really loose pencils and then ink everything on top of it. But now what I'm finding is that I'm doing tighter pencils because I find that it saves me more time inking if I know exactly where I'm going.
That's the balance. That's the balance. Yeah. And I'm trying to find that balance at the I'm desperately trying to find that balance of where do I stop the detail, where do I let myself go, and
and a lot of that is confidence and experience in the personal artist, because I've seen somebody like Sergio Aragonis sit down with a blank page and a finished piece, but that's because he's already penciled that book in his head. He's already seen that scene in his mind. And one of the cool things I was going to say, you can always tell a John Buscema ink almost like a Joe Kubert ink off of his pencils, because the inks are looser once they get in. But these people have been in the business for so long and have done so much work that a simple brush stroke does more than somebody who's emanating Jim Lee would do in a half an hour with hatch lines.
Yes, exactly.
It's amazing to sit and look at some of these works, especially the farther in their career they are, because of that simplicity. And simplicity is really the key. Alex Toth was a big one like that, just to cut everything out right down to the bare bones, black and white, boom, done. And it's just, that's all part of their style too, because you can look at a page and see an ink job that's done by Kubert and automatically recognize it as Joe's work, even his son's work, Andy. You can, or Adam, Andy and Adam. You can tell which kid by the style.
Yeah, definitely.
They're very individualistic, and they've done it for so long that it's second nature to them. And the detail in the pencil on the individual artist is all in how much they're actually seeing that panel already in their head.
It's time to get out of here, folks. But I did want to say this while you're here, while you're watching. That right there is our YouTube monetization goal right there.
Ooh.
Now that 4,000 is required to get monetized. Look how many watch hours you get. 3,652 public watch hours.
You still need to get the 1,000 subscribers though. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Every 30 days though, we lose watch hours because it's watch hours for the year, I believe it is, to get you on. So it's every 30 days we lose some. So next, so basically now since we've been on for a year, every day we lose some watch hours. So we really appreciate you guys. And if you're not subscribed over on YouTube, please pop over there.
Please do.
And subscribe to the Indie Vault YouTube channel.
But what are our radio numbers?
Radio numbers are really high this morning. Right now we're at 84,881.
Very nice. Thank you.
We appreciate each and every one of you out there listening on indievolt.com.
The day it hits 100, I'll be tossing out the money.
Yep. That's when we start the potathon, I'm telling you.
Yeah, really. So who's our number one country today?
Today we are actually very big in Russia. Yeah, which is
sweet.
Scary.
All good.
Very scary. So prepare to get Russian friend requests.
Get one of
those.
I get lots of those. I get lots of Russian. Lots
of
female Russian friend requests.
Quite a few. Yeah. Just have to go through and weed them out. Yep.
Oh, my name is Tanya.
That's more like, hello, my name is Tanya.
Really big arms. You like that?
I like when they use pictures of well-known celebrities. Like I don't know who that is.
Right? Yeah.
It's like
Terry's in the audience. Hey, Terry, we wish you well. Hope you're doing good. We don't talk often enough anymore. So
that or they'll message you with like a well-known hello. Like I literally got email said hello. My name is Breonna Taylor, and I'm like who? What? And that's the young lady who got killed here by the cops. And I'm like what? Like, and I guarantee what they did. They looked up famous American names, they were like, "I will take this one," and they threw it up there, and
they just see what's trending on Twitter with no context whatsoever.
Yeah. Holy crap! You've been resurrected in what country?
Yeah. Hello, my name is Bill Clinton. What do you want, Bill? What do you want?
Yeah.
Whatever it is Bill. You want, keep it in your trousers.
Yeah.
Russ, where can people find you at? Where can they stalk you at?
You can stalk me.
Where can they stand you at?
Yes. We can stand me, whatever that means. That's far too young. I don't understand internet speak. Don't know what internet speak is.
Gives understanding a whole new.
Yeah. When I'm not ranting at the internet and screaming at the news and shouting at parked cars, you can find me on YouTube as Comic Book Black Belt. I don't put enough videos up, but there are lots and lots of videos up there of my production process. There will be a new one up soon about it will be a debrief on my campaign, so there might be some interest in some other creators. You can also find me at russleach.com, comicbookblackbelt.com. You can find me on all the usual platforms, the Twitter and the Fleecebook. You can also find out about my book, Only Death Can Save Us, onlydeathcansavus.com. And there is a link there for the Indiegogo. It is still in demand. You can still pick yourself up one of the original books. It's not going to be up for long. I'm going to announce soon when the in demand will be coming down. And that's about it, really. You can find me all those places. Come chat. The smell of success.
Yeah, absolutely.
Smell of quality.
Yeah.
You can still smell it.
And where can you leave Miss Lage digital chocolates and digital flowers?
Oh, right. Yeah. Do
Digital.
not. Yes.
Would you?
Do not
Where
send
can you
me
leave us
gifts.
some NFTs?
Yes, exactly. Yes, like do not
you go.
send me chocolates and handcuffs. Yes, at egoworks.com, my main portfolio site where you can find all my social media. I hang out mostly on Facebook, where I post up a lot of work in progress and pencils and things if you're into that, but not enough for you to be inking over. You can also you can also see my links for my current Kickstarter for Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, issues 1 and issue 2. I haven't checked the campaign yet, but still, though, it's rocking along. So I want to thank everybody for supporting that. You can also find a link to my other website, my other comic, Tall Tales, at Tall Tales Online, TAILS, where where I just finished a Kickstarter for my trade, but you can still read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free there as well. And for those of you, instead of sending me handcuffs and chocolates, I would rather you instead head over to my other link, House of Bob, which is uncensored, which the uncensored version is exclusive to Fur Affinity. You have to be 18 and up to see this collection and register. But yeah, I prefer you do that instead. Go check out House of Bob instead of sending chocolates and something. You'll trust me, you'll like it better.
but the handcuffs are furry.
Right, yeah.
There you go. Fur lined at least, yes.
They weren't even that. They were just like standard handcuffs. I don't know what he was trying to do.
That's horrible.
Yeah, no.
Doge and Bitcoin's always accepted.
Right, yes. Uh-huh.
Mr. Zimm, how about you, sir?
Hey, you can find me on Facebook under Randy Zimmerman. You can find me on Twitter under Randy Zimm, though I'm not up there very often. Please look us up on Facebook under Arrow Comics 4.0, as we'll be posting more artwork, making more announcements for more books, because we're going to be huge. Like Russ says, we're going to be huge. All aimed at the direct market starting in August. Available through Liberty Distributors, who I'm sure Varian will talk about here before we get off the air. And you can find me also on Sunday morning on the Sunday Funnies here on the Indie Volt Radio Network with sometimes with Daphne Lage. This week we will be having Brian K. Morris is scheduled to be on, as well as probably Glenn Fleming and Russ and a few of us older geezers trying to talk about the fun side of funny books and the more light-hearted and whimsical side, though we never know how the conversation's going to run. And then Varian and I will be back on Tuesday night for the Livewire program at Tuesday night at 9 p.m. also here on YouTube, on Indie Volt, and Facebook. So please come back and join us then. Oh, and also before I forget, which I almost did, the Indie Volt Revolt book is available over on Indiegogo. It only has 9 days left for the campaign. We're going to be closing this out, and once we close it out, it's done. And unlike the other complaints, people are going to complain, so we won't be reprinting this book. We'll be printing it pretty close to orders, a few extra, but we will not be offering this book again on another campaign. And you can look forward to seeing Indie Volt Revolt in a smaller 32-page format available through the direct market here starting in August as well.
That's right. And speaking of all the Indie Volt goodness, and I got to make sure that I bring up that a lot of the books you see on Indie Volt, luckily, will be available if you're a retailer. Through Liberty Entertainment Distribution. That's a company that I own. We're distributing independent books to comic stores and beyond. LEDG.us to go get signed up. Takes about 48 to 72 hours currently to get signed up, but we are moving through those applications very quickly. We got bumped up, and I want to thank you guys who have been spreading the word to your retailers. We got bumped up from 60 retailers to 74.
Ooh,
so
very nice.
Want to thank you guys about that. Appreciate you guys spreading the word to retailers. We are, happy to serve them and get them these books. They're available to go in there and now and start ordering. So we got the books, and we want to make sure they get them. Our books ship out very quickly. Our books are on hand, so you order a book, it's going out within the day or two after you order to make sure that it gets to you. We ship the UPS, so make sure that you
What? I don't have to figure out my budget now for 3 months from now?
No,
What?
no. The books are in. It's just like Amazon, man. The books are in. A lot of those books are covered by the Liberty Pledge, which means if you can't get that book to sell on your shelf, I don't want to have it sitting on your shelf collecting dust. Send it back to us. We'll get you a refund for it.
Holy crap, that's too convenient.
Yeah, way too convenient. So yeah, you guys can check that out. Also, go to indievoteawards.com. We are doing an award show for independent comics. It's a live event. There will be people in the audience, and while we're here,
Pointing and laughing the whole time. No.
Yeah, and because he hates it,
We'll be enjoying ourselves. Yes.
we want to take the time to make sure we mention the first inductee in the Hall of Fame. Here we go.
Next week we'll induct somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be happy to see this go.
I will, especially with all the misspellings and stuff. Yes. You said you were going to make changes. Anyway.
I haven't made him yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only one. We didn't separate the word hero by.
I should change mischievous Tales from the Universe too.
Okay.
There's the preservers. Anyway, there's my concerned look. And like I said yesterday, make sure you bring that lantern so I can power up that ring right in front of everybody.
There it is. There's the ring he'll be getting.
Brightest day.
The 2021 Indie Vote Awards. They're all getting rings. All the Hall of Fame guys. They're gonna get class rings, and they'll be able to.
I actually like that idea better than trophies. To tell you the truth. A class ring.
Yeah, they're getting class rings. They'll probably never wear them. And I thought about trying to put something in inside the ring that says, "Do not let this person sell it. Call us." I know I'm gonna pawn this. Like, yeah, okay. WWE actually has. I saw that idea from WWE, and they actually have. I guess there's a rule like you can't sell them, and but there are wrestlers who figured out a way around it.
Right.
Like, yeah, we're selling this. I'm selling this ring. All right, who wants to give me $20,000 for this ring? Me. But yeah, that's how the ring looks. That's how Randy's will look. I has Zimm right on the top. So if he punches somebody, he's gonna leave his imprint, his name right in there. Leave the top right to him. Yeah. Yep. Right to him. So congratulations, Randy. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, right, exactly.
This is my Indie Volt ring. There we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Send all marriage proposals.
Kiss the ring. Yeah.
Gifts of Fashion Daphne D. Lage, care of JD Calderon, 1210 Knockout Lane. I'm gonna die, New York, 660.
Yeah, exactly. Lampshade up the ass. Road.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back here to check out Saturday. Pitches Be Crazy. It's gonna fall into its regular time frame very soon. But we got a special episode coming up this Saturday, so check it out at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. Me and Randy will be back the Tuesday night at 9:30. 9 o'clock, sorry, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Indie Vote Live Wire, which we may have some surprises. I believe we're gonna have a new intro.
Another new intro.
Well, the intro is gonna be expanded. Yeah, it's gonna be that was just half of the new intro. So
and last Tuesday was hilarious.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's gonna be even longer now. Man.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. His Zimm print. That's funny. Yeah. Zimm print.
Zimm print.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching.
Shall I take us out?
Go ahead.
How's Vidania?
Ciao.
Take care, everybody. Stay healthy. We'll see you soon.
Yay! Think about what you've accomplished.
Can you hammer a 6-inch spike through a board with your penis?
Not right now.
A girl's gotta have her